Why I support Asian representation in media. The YouTube Red series starring Anna Akana, Youth and Consequences, premiered in March, and it was such a kick-ass show. Hashtag Crazy Rich Asians is trending on Twitter, and the movie is a box office success. Searching is tracking to open anywhere in the 3.5 to 7 million range after its debut in select theaters. To All the Boys I've Loved Before is doing very well on Netflix, and people are talking about it on social media. Fresh Off the Boat is a hilarious show, and every episode makes me laugh and cry like a baby. Kelly Marie Tran broke the silence and spoke up for the first time after deleting her Instagram post this summer in response to the online harassment that she faced. She spoke for herself and for the rest of us, and it made me cry. I keep track of all of it, and I hold it very dearly to my heart, and I take it personally. Representation is so important, but I don't have to tell you that. It's not news. You already know. We all look for likeness in our role models. This piece is titled Why I Support Asian Representation in Media. And it sounds like a dumb thing to say. Why wouldn't I support Asian representation in media? Why wouldn't anyone? But the important part of the message that I want to send is about why it's so important for me personally to support people like me in race, cultural identity, gender, and sexuality, and so on. We look for likeness in our role models, but when you're a minority trying to find your place at the table, it's hard not to turn it into a fight. It's hard to just see it as a personal journey and not look at other people's accomplishments or other people's path to compare or compete. You get tricked into believing that there's only one spot left on stage for someone like you. My mind just does it automatically, and it needs to stop. When I lose the position or the role to a white candidate or a male candidate or an American candidate, it's just like every other day. But if I lose the role to an Asian international female, it's a much bigger deal, because in my mind, she played on equal footing, which means she won fairly. So I lost completely. I hate that my brain does this. I understand why it does and where I'm coming from, because there is so little representation that you get tricked into believing that there's only one spot out there for someone like you, but there shouldn't be, and we shouldn't let it seem that way for ourselves and for everyone else in our position. This is why I take supporting other people in my position very seriously. It's my own personal way of making sure that there's more spaces out there in the spotlight for people like us. Because if I convince myself and trick myself into believing that there's only one room for someone like me out there, there'll be only one room out there forever, because I won't believe that I can do anything to change that. And I can do something to change that. We all can. I can give all my support to people in my position and find role models that I can look up to and see them as inspiration instead of an unattainable goal. I can work my butt off to try to make more positions for people like myself in whatever way I can and help others in their journey. I can look at other people's experiences who are fighting the same fight and learn from them, and most importantly, I can be an advocate. I can speak up about the importance of representation and equality and stand for what I believe in. I don't want to be the kind of person who comes from a place of jealousy. It makes me so happy to see that the world is changing and becoming a more accepting place. I'm filled with so much pride and joy when I see movies like Crazy Rich Asians, or TV shows like To All the Boys I Loved Before, or people like Anna Akana do so well. Because maybe now it might mean that little Asian boys, girls, and non-binary pals won't feel like they have to settle to just being a stereotype. Because maybe now more of us might go into positions in the arts or step up to leadership roles, because we've seen it happen before, so we believe that it can happen again. And most importantly, because now maybe more of us will actually feel like we belong here. And doesn't that sound nice? However, this is only possible because of the work that each person does individually. Each of us are doing our part in creating our space in the world, and this is how I do mine. This is why I support Asian representation in media. Thank you for watching. I've kind of been very overwhelmed recently, in a good way, with how much love and representation is out there right now and how different the media seems to be becoming, especially when it comes to Asian representation. Of course, that's just the first step of many, many that have to be taken in order to get where we really want to go, but I just wanted to celebrate it a little bit, and I wanted to talk about how I've been feeling recently. If you haven't watched any of the shows that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, please do so. And if it's a movie, watch it in theaters, because we want to help that box office, because that sends the message to Hollywood and the media gods that the people want more of this content, and we do. Asian representation is so important. Just like all representation is very important. That's it for now. Thanks for watching again. Subscribe if you want and hit like if you do, and I'll see you next Monday.